my pleasure that I am here in Krakow now, but I gave my presentation from a hotel. But I would like to talk a little bit about Museum of Book and Printing of Ukraine. We are situated in Kyiv, and you see here the building of our museum. The museum is housed in a former building of the Kyiv Cave Monastery Press that was built in the early 17th century. It was the first printing house in the entirety of Eastern Ukraine and worked constantly for over 300 years. A state museum established in Kyiv in 1972. It was UNESCO International Year of the Book as the State Museum of Book and Book Printing, and opened to the public in 1975. Precursor to the museum, there was another museum called Museum of Ukrainian Writer and Printing, which was established in 1924. I show you our headpieces from our one old printed books, Lviv Apostle 1639. About our collection. The museum collection contains 58,000 exhibits, manuscript, old printed books, 1618 rare books, 19th century engravings, printing presses, first editions of 19th and 20th centuries, Ukrainian books and other publications, book plates, graphic works and paintings. More than 3,000 exhibits in 5 halls chronicle the development of book writing, printing, and book publishing in Ukraine. We present our unique first old printed books, Apostle Lviv 1574, Ostrog Bible. We have 2 copies, 1581, Jus Municipale Magdeburg Law, we printed in Lviv 1581, Kyiv Pechersk Paterik Kyiv 1661, and rare books printed by the Kyiv Cave Monastery Press, Ostrog Press, Lviv Dormitation Brotherhood Press, Chernigiv Press, Triaten Press, and other presses are on display. Now I would like to show you how much we have graphic work. Museum holds different collections: manuscript 23, old printing books 16th, 18th century 747, printing equipment close 300, rare books 19, and modern literature you see 34,350. But the graphic collection is one of the largest and most significant, and makes up 24% of the entire museum collection. History of our collections. The first significant proceedings to the museum collections came from the Kyiv Pechersk Historical and Cultural Reserve from the Department of Book and Graphic during 1972-73. Then, according to the orders of the Minister of Culture of Ukraine, more than 7,500 exhibits were transferred from different institutions. For example, among them 100 rare old printed books, Apostle Lviv, Bible Ostrog, Trebnik 1648, Галятовський Йоники, Ключ розуміння. It was like the first printed books which printed in our Kyivo-Pechersk press. And wood block cliché, and we are proud that we have printing presses as well. 1917, more than 3,000 books were donated to Kyiv-Pechersk Reserve by State Library of the USSR, Moscow, and then they were transferred to the newly established Museum of Book and Printing of Ukraine. In the following years, museum exhibits were received from Bila Tserkva, Ivano-Frankivsk, Chernivtsi, Sumy, Chernigiv, and other local museums and various libraries. For example, close 300 exhibits transferred from the Leningrad Public Library, named after Saltykov-Shcheldrin. Among them are the scientific papers of Badtysh-Kamensky, Yavornitsky, works by Panteleimon Kulish and Mykola Gogol, published in the 19th, early 20th century. Close 300 exhibits transferred from the Lviv Scientific Library, named after Stefanik, including the Zapyski scientific works in Polish, published in Lviv, Krakow, Warsaw. Close 300 books transferred from the Vernadsky National Library, and 48 books from the library of the Taras Shevchenko State Museum, works by Taras Shevchenko published in different years, and even the first printed books by Taras Shevchenko. Then the list of institutions that donated the exhibits to our museum can be extended. History of graphic collection. In the 18th, the museum's last century, the museum was lucky to replenish its collection with works of Ukrainian graphics, the brilliant flooring of which occurred in the 15th and early 17th of the 20th century. At this time, a whole galaxy of young Ukrainian artists began to work. Якутович, Георгій Якутович, Адамович, Данченко, Губарів, Лопухова, Базилевич, Гордійчук, Касіян, Якутович, Дерегус, but son of Георгій Якутович, Сергій Якутович, Дерегус, Перевальський, Лопата, Ольга Петрова, Чаришніков, Ivakhnenko, and others. The process of survival of the art of book was closely connected with the flurry of graphics of this period. Graphic works, illustrations for the famous literature works of Dante, Boccaccio, Franco, Lesa Ukrainka, Shevchenko, Gogol, Kotlяревsky were transferred to museum collection by the Directorate of Art Exhibitions of Ukraine. Now you see here two works from our collection, Bazilevich and Gordichuk, who illustrated one of the very popular Aeneid by Kotlяревsky, because Ivan Kotlяревsky, we name him like a father or starter of modern Ukrainian literature. Also, whose burlesque travesty Virgil Aeneid was the first work written wholly in the Ukrainian language, and rewrote this Aeneid. And many other artists illustrate this literature work, and especially famous Bazilevich, Gordichuk, Kirich, and we are proud that we have in our collection these works. For example, 1803 year, the museum purchased illustration for the Aeneid by Kotlяревsky artist Bazilevich. 1988-1989 museum purchased illustration for Kotlяревsky poem Aeneid artist Gordichuk, you see here. 1987 museum purchased illustration for the Boccaccio Decameron artist Danchenko, and many others. I would like to show some original works of our famous artists which preserved in our funds. For example, Charishnikov. You see here the illustration to the book by Rudolf Raspe, The Adventures of Baron Münchhausen, and these illustrations was awarded by the International Prize Golden Apple. Now Charishnikov lives in USA, and I know that he was like one of winner in Oscar, because he was an artist in film, in one movie, like an artist, and he get Oscar for this film. 2004, the last purchase of book graphic artist Serhiy Yakutovich, illustration based on Gogol's novel Taras Bulba. We have in our museum collection all series by Serhiy Yakutovich named Mazepiana. Then we have in our collection all all series of lithograph dedicated Dante Divina Commedia by Olga Petrova. It's very interesting because her work, when she created this work, she cannot work in art because Soviet authority forbidden her, especially for this illustration, like a symbolic illustration. But it's a very now very rare illustration, because we preserve in our museum, and we are very happy that we have this illustration as well. And this year, when we celebrate the 700 by Dante, we show this illustration as well. And now soon we will have the exhibition by Alexandra Vekhnenko. We have in our collection illustrations to many original work by Vekhnenko, illustration to Shevchenko and many others literature work. And soon we will have exhibition dedicated this artist. And it's very interesting because her daughter Maria, she is Japan. She is like she knows Japan language and work in embassy in Japan, and she invited to this project Japan artist because she very close in her creativity to creativity of Vekhnenko, and we wait for this for open of this exhibition in December. Then we have another collection, very rare illustration by Krzyzewski. It's our famous artist. We get this collection in 2004 from National Commission for the Return of Cultural Property of Ukraine, transferred to our museum as part of Krzyzewski Artistic Heritage. 77 exhibits given to Ukraine by the granddaughter of the artist Galina Krzyzewska from Venezuela. Among these received book covers for Grinchenko's publication, sketch for the literature works Gogol, Shevchenko, Kulish, and so on. Later, the museum received 40 drawings by Krzyzewski. Today, when the very few of Krzyzewski's original works have survived, it is difficult to overestimate the importance of returning this artist's heritage to his motherland. Now, you can browse the museum special catalog Krzyzewski that highlight the legacies. The commission also transferred books from the archive Zero and graphic works by the artist Butovich to the museum collection. The museum has received exceptional gifts from more than 250 generous collections. We are proud that even well-known artists help us to expand our collections. Among them, famous Ukrainian artists Gubarev, Perevalsky, Stratilat, Lopata, Michenko, Garbuz, Yakutovich, Denisenko, Yurchishin family. Museum collection is replenished since museum stuff as well. For example, this you see here wood grain Miracles of Blessed Virgin printed in Pochaev, close 1740 on silk. And this engraving, the donation of me, director of museum, and deputy director Hauha. The museum was created an exhibition which presented all the donor and the museum gifts. Here in my presentation, I show a timeline of our graphic collection. We start from 16th century, where graphic presented in all printed books, and you see we have 14 books 16th century where presented graphic work of our engraver. Then we research and study graphic in all printed books 17th century. We have in our collection 117 books, and we study the creativity, for example, such as famous engraver Ilya, Zubritsky, and so on. But we have only in our collection engraved pictorial Bible, printed in Augsburg 1695 by Weigel. And we have this very rare woodcut print gravure, family tree, where you see the Kievo-Pecherska Lavra monastery, and you see very interesting tree with at the bottom of this engraver you see Antonie Feodosii, the founder of Kievo-Pechersky monastery. Then on this timeline you see the book graphic in old printing books 18th century. We have another collection 269 books. Then we have engraved pictorial books. One, for example, Historia Biblica Veteris et Novi Testament Augsburg Klauber. We printed facsimile. I work with this project, and now we have facsimile from of this book. Then we have some printed book like Повесть о Святом Граде Иерусалиме и прочих окрестностях, Cooper engraving, and the woodcut print crucifixion 17th-18th century like a Lubok engraver. Then our collection widely presented book and graphic in printing books 19th-20th century, and you see the work by Mykola Semenovich Samokish from Ukrainian antiquity. And we have another collection also next to the works by Unixtrim in Ukrainian art of the beginning of 20th century, called after his leading artist Mikhailo Boychuk, Boychukism. Now I show some works by Kotlяревська Maria and Sakhnovska Olena, and as well Mikhailo Ivanovich Zhuk. I see that I have much more time. I tell some words about our digitalization, because now many, it's like a priority now for all museums in Ukraine. Digitalization collection, including the museum of book, and we now digitalize our funds, and we have you can see on our site you see the some valuable exhibits in collection. Then you see image catalog. Now we create electronic museum catalog, and you have free access to the museum online collection through the website with opportunity to download scientific work every year.
Sorry to interrupt, because we have next speaker. So thank you so much. I'm sure that we'll have some time to discuss this further on, but so thank you for introducing your wonderful collection to us.